Welcome back to It All Counts, the podcast where we continue to learn and grow together and in hopes of all of us getting better. This is a great episode for me, one that's dear to my heart. It's really about parenting, fatherhood, nurturing, developing all of our children, but in some case for me specifically, young men in the household when dad is not present, oftentimes when he's present or when it's just mom at home. So I think there's a lot of lessons we can learn here. And I can kind of give you a story about when I was growing up. My mom was a single parent mom, and she did a phenomenal job for a lot of young guys I've coached. And I would hear him often say, I would be better if my dad was around. Why wasn't he around? And I think for a while we can use that excuse because at a certain point there's a reality, but after a while we can use it as an excuse. But we have to find a way to do it on our own. How do we make sound decisions? How do we become better? How do we use that as motivation to be better and not sit there and lean on it as an excuse? Because society is tough as it is. That doesn't have anything to do with how you look or where you come from. Society can be tough. But how do you find your way to become better every day? I think those things are very important. The thing my mom did a great job of as a parent, she never made excuses. She never complained. Even though she had tough times, she always pushed forward. She displayed a tremendous amount of love. Exhausted from work, she always had a positive vibe, to a positive energy, a lot of love, a lot of energy. And she made us believe, and she would always talk about just dream big, just dream, believe in God. But she would push us, and our dad was not in the household. But what my mom did a phenomenal job of, she never made excuses or she never talked down about our father. She never talked down about him. He's a bad man. Why is he here? She never did that. So as you get older, you have a positive belief about your parents, because she didn't degrade him or belittle him as a man. Whatever she thought or whatever they went through, I think she separated those two. And I think that is a phenomenal thing for a young mother. Her first child is 16, 18, 20. So they have the ability to be able to separate the two and say, okay, I'm going to do what's best for my children. And I pray that he finds his way. I still love him, but I'm not going to speak down or speak negative about him because we're not in a relationship together. And I think that is very important for parents to understand. But she encouraged us to continue to push forward, continue to believe, whether it's in sports, try your best. She never put pressure on us to be the best. Just try your best, work as hard as you can work, and so to speak, let the chips fall where they may. And she continued to believe, and all she wanted from God was to help her kids get in a better way in life. And I think she spent a lot of hours on believing and praying, because she knew and she experienced as a young mother how the world can be tough, having lack of resources. And sometimes you brought it upon yourself. We understand that. But if I'm working hard, somebody assists me in helping with my sons with great opportunities. That's all she ever asked for, was an opportunity. And I think we have to look at that, especially as single parent moms. How can we find a better way for our children? We can find all the areas to make excuses, but then, okay, put all the excuses aside. Okay, God, allow me to put my kids in the best situation possible, be successful. I want good academics. If I'm working multiple jobs, are there daycare centers or programs in the inner city communities to help these kids? So I'm working a job. And part of that, when I put them in these communities, I don't want nobody physically harming my children, sexually harming my children. I want them in a safe space so they can continue to learn and grow and be successful in life. How many people out there are really teaching our children to be successful? Because I think as a community, that old saying, it takes a village to raise a family, I think that part is lost in a lot of communities. It's almost as if every man or every family for themselves. And I think we have to get back to the point where all the parents are working together in the community to make it a better place. The great thing for me, I've always had great male figures in my life, and they've done a tremendous job. And my dad is around. He wasn't in my life every day, but he's around, and I know where to find him if I was looking for him. And I, though he wasn't there every day, I still think he's a wonderful man. And that's just what I believe. And a lot of that has to do with what my mom instilled in me. And I've had phenomenal men, Melvin Ray, Norman Stevens, a guy by the name of Norman Stevens. He's a pillar in East St. Louis. Everybody knows him. He's done a lot for so many people in the city of East St. Louis. Just one of those guys, when you say literally give the shirt off his back. He wasn't consumed about all the stuff. He was consumed with family, his loved ones, making sure they were okay. And he would go to war with anybody in the world if you affected his family and his loved ones. And he took a tremendous amount of pride in that. But my high school coaches, my elementary school coaches, all those guys, because when you come from my hometown of East St. Louis, they all took pride in making sure you found a better way in life. So though you weren't their child, they were your coach, and they made sure they put you in position to be successful. And they also, they chew on you, get a spanking from them as well, because really it's all family. Because they knew once you left East St. Louis what life was about. So they had to prepare you for life. Yeah, the sports would be fine, but you need to be successful in the classroom. You need to be a good person. You need to know how to treat people. And I had so many lessons from different men and coaches on how to treat people in life. And I had valuable lessons there. And my mom did a tremendous job of allowing men to be men and raise them as coaches. So it was no case we would come on and say, man, coach was on me tough today and all that. I mean, you didn't do those things because you knew the people cared about you. Nobody ever, and I can safely say to this day, nobody ever physically harmed or mistreated me sexually, any type of way. So I was always around wonderful teachers, leaders, and men. And that helped me to this day to understand what it means to have confidence, composure, and be able to trust. Because oftentimes what I see with young men, especially when they go off to college, and when you come from predominantly black communities, and if a father wasn't present in our household, they learn a different form of love. And what it is, because if you have a college coach that's disciplined, and what I mean by disciplined and dedicated and demanding, be on time, go to class every day, work as hard as you can work, be a productive citizen, make sure you're well-groomed, whether you have braids, hair, whatever it is, make sure you're well-groomed, make sure you make your bed in the morning, brush your teeth every day, floss your teeth, all these things, all these valuable life lessons that will help you grow from a boy into a man and eventually a husband, father, and leader. Those are great lessons. I had a lot of that growing up in East St. Louis. So for me, college was just being away from home, but I had a lot of life lessons, and I understood what it means to respect authority in adults. I see more than ever a lot of young men, they don't respect authority at the level. That doesn't mean you weak or somebody beneath you, but if there's somebody has 10 plus 20, 30 years of experience of life ahead of you, why don't you learn from that person? Those are valuable lessons in that. And I think those are the struggles. And then oftentimes when you go away from home, that nurturing that your mom gave you is no longer there. So now you try to find that somewhere else on a college campus. Well, right now, though it's not mom, you're probably going to get that from your college coach. A male figure, and I can say this safely, this is me talking, I can't speak for anybody else. There's no better love than a mother's love, in my opinion. I don't care if you got a father in the household. I prayed to God with my wife and children that my kids love my wife more than anything in this world. I mean, obviously God first, but love my wife more than anything, their mother. Because I just feel like the love of a mother, it exceeds all things in life outside of God, because that's just I've seen movies and stories, and I've even heard them about, there are men that have spent 10, 20, 30 plus years and sometimes life in prison. And all they ever want to do is have a chance to see their mom or touch their mom, be under their mom's wing again, to get some of mom's home cooking. Boy, that is a painful feeling. And then have to go to sleep for the next amount of years. That is a tough slumber. Mom, I wish I can do it all over again. And that goes to the decisions that we make in life. As young men, if we can just and say no. Let me think about this for a second. This might cost me my life. It might cost somebody else their life. So let me say no and let me walk away. And I think that is hard because the pressures of life can get on top of us so tough that we figure, what's the point in living? I've struggled. What's the point in keep going? I'm 18 to 25 years old. I can't find my way. I can't get a job. My girlfriend and I, we broke up. My mom said, you need to go out there and get a job and work. I've tried 3 or 4 years. What do I do? So do I go rob and steal? So I would say to that young man, get on your knees and start praying to God. Just even if nobody ever told you about God, you don't believe in God, just start praying. Just talk. Say, God, whoever you are, I don't know who you are. I want to talk to you. And just wait for the Lord and be strong as you wait for him. And as you wait for him, one day at a time, I'm going to be good today. I'm going to just be 1% better. I'm going to be good today. I'm not going to cause any crimes. I'm not going to break any laws. I'm not going to bother anybody. I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to minimize my language as far as cuss words and how I treat people. And I'm going to call women, ladies, girls, instead of bees in these derogatory terms. and slang that we use. Let's be better every day. And all of a sudden we pray for a better walk. God, one day at a time, let me be a better man. One day at a time. And all of a sudden you look up 10 years later, you live a peaceful, blessed life because you made those decisions where you sit there extremely hard when you sit there and it's like, I don't have nothing around me but walls. I don't have any money. And it's a hard thing in life as a man when you can't provide for your family financially. That is a painful life. So if I can't provide, and I've tried to get jobs, so what do I do to provide for my family? Do I go rob and steal and try to kill somebody? Well, that's not good. So I think local leaders, local government, or state government, we have to make conscious decisions on what's best for all people. Let's take Colorado. What's best for all people? We all know those areas in each state, those cities and areas that are low income, I'm going to say humble beginnings, but in most cases, poor areas. Like my hometown, when you have one grocery store, you're talking 89 blocks, and you're talking about a city with rich tradition and history, wonderful people, 89 blocks and one grocery store, not a lot of restaurants. So where do people get foods? How do they get food? These are areas we have to improve as people. How do we do that? And I think it's a blessing when everybody makes X amount of dollars. You have multi-millionaires, billionaires. Well, how do we have homeless people all around the country? And it seems like it continues to grow. How do we have that? And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody that creates success in their lives, but we have to do a better job, especially when I see all these high schools that are empty in inner city areas, these elementary schools that are empty. Why don't we fix these up and make them into housing for the homeless? Because not everybody homeless because they lost a job or made poor decisions on drugs. We have people that suffer with mental illness. We have ex-military people that fought for our country and did a phenomenal job in the trenches but struggle with mental situations. How do we put them in position to be successful? Because we know the world is not kind, even though the United States is a phenomenal place to be in. We have areas we have to continue to grow. Yes, it's a place where you can come up from $0 and all of a sudden you can become successful. We understand that. But we have to embrace those people that have less. How do we embrace those people and give them opportunities to be successful? How do we help guys that's been incarcerated and did their time? How do I come home? I did my time. Whatever the time was, I served my time, and then I get out, I'm still in prison. I'm on watch mode 24/7. I have to watch my every step, every move. I can't get jobs. I can't get opportunities. I can't vote. I can't do certain things. I can't carry a gun. So now, did I really serve my time? We have to be better in those areas. We have to speak about these things, and we just can't let them go by. As a mother, if you're raising children, because we all were youth and we all became teens and we become parents, as a mother, you know there's going to be heartache, heartbreak, and there's going to be pain when you're raising children, especially when they're not in your eyesight. They become teens and they become adults, and around that teenage, you have to instill the values. And I'm speaking because not everybody believes there's a God, so I understand that. But what you have to do, you have to teach and promote love. Because I think when you speak love and have an open heart, and in most cases it forces you to trust somebody. I don't think we can be successful in life without trusting somebody. And the trust really takes place when you leave mom's household. Mom has to do a good job of letting go when it's time to let go. Like, for example, in sports. If you're a single parent mom and you're coaching, and a lot of this experience, I'm not talking about what I heard my mom, I'm speaking about it. So if you're a single parent mom and your child is in sports, and say a young man, he's in sports and he's not playing a lot, he's struggling, coaches on him, meaning really oftentimes on him is pushing him to be successful, getting him out of his comfort zone. As a mom, just sit back. Unless he's physically being harmed, then that's different. But sit back and allow that coach to teach him and educate him, because those lessons will help him in life if you guys continue to work together, talk about it. Because what happened, he would gain emotional confidence as he continued to grow. I think that's very important. You don't want anybody beating him up. I think the things you recognize as a parent, when your son comes home and his head is down, because that's not a good sign when a young man walks home with his head down. You want his chest up, head up. Chest out, head up. So now if he comes on, his head down, he's not the same. Then you want to sit down and ask him, son, what's going on? Well, coach is on me hard. What do you mean he's on you hard? Just explain. And as a parent, you want to take notes. He's on me hard because he wants me to touch every line we run the sprints. He wants me to go to class every day. He wants me to be respectful to the teachers. He don't want me laughing in the hallways when I should be in the classroom. Well, son, that's not necessarily getting on the coach is teaching you values in life. The same thing we do at home. We teach you a lot of values. So don't get discouraged, son. Maintain your courage, maintain your confidence, maintain your composure, and just listen to coach because coach has been there before. Coach has been there for you. He understands what you're trying to do. But I think oftentimes as moms, we can't be so protective that we don't allow that male figure to continue to teach and help your son, because that's a part of growth. And I think we have to do that every day. And I think as a mom, continue to pray through things. Pray for direction, pray for vision, pray for protection of your children, especially young men when they go out in this world, because oftentimes, again, especially if you're a minority male figure, there's the pressures of being successful in life, but also the perceptions that we deal with. And that's a reality, and we can't run from that. But I think as a mom, continue to nurture, continue to teach, and continue to lead him, but let him make mistakes under your umbrella and talk about it. Because I think the one element I think we all struggle with is communicating with our children as they continue to get older. We have to sit down and talk about a lot of things. Is it uncomfortable? Yes. It is very uncomfortable to talk about sex, to talk about drugs, talk about alcohol, who's mistreating, has an older person put their hands on you, touch you physically. We have to talk about these things. We cannot run from it. It's life. It's painful. Yes, it is. But we have to show our kids consistent love, accountability, and respect. And we have to give that to them every day. I think the things that I would say is there's a lot of lessons in growing and learning. The things I try to teach along with my wife, with our children. I have two older sons and a daughter. If you have the ability, and you do have the ability, but it's the way in which you do it, to be able to smile, to show a level of confidence. And confidence, you don't need to be the toughest person in the room. It's not about that. You want to smile, show confidence. And I think one of the things to be able to communicate, because I think oftentimes, and I wish all schools, and right now I'm talking specifically inner city schools, if they can teach the classroom of communication. I think in all inner city areas, if the superintendents, the principals, if anybody's listening to me, if we can teach communication from day one, allow that kid to get up in this classroom and stand up to speak. And it can be if you elementary school, first grade, you got to stand up for a minute and a half and talk about how was your day. And you give a specific topic, because sometimes people come from households, you don't want to hear what they have to say in front of a classroom. That's for a later time and date when you want to talk to a kid, because everybody's household is not the same. But you give up a topic, go, tell me something about a giraffe, and they got a minute and a half to talk about it. And what you're doing is they're able to communicate, and as they continue to grow, they become eloquent in their speak. And I think that is very important to help our youth understand how to speak from day one, from first grade on to high school. Now they're communicating in the classroom. All of a sudden it goes from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and you have the confidence. I think if you have the confidence to speak in public and learning how to speak in front of 1, 100, or 1,000, that's a skill and a gift that can last a lifetime. You have some of the best orators in the world that know how to do that. So I think if we can teach our children that, then you can teach them a work ethic. I think in all inner city areas, if you can, there are a lot of plumbers, carpenters, people that work on houses, construction workers, maintenance crews, lawn service. We have to employ our children when they're in high school. Start them in 9th grade. You can work a job. Or if you have a plan on Saturdays, we can open up the school for barbers, young barbers, so they can create money, learn how to manage your money. You made whatever you make. So everybody, we have 4 barbers in the elementary school, high school. And so now on Saturdays, we open up from noon to 5. And these are students at the school. You come get your haircut. Every haircut is $7. You make $7, you got to give 2 back to the school, so to speak. So you learn how to, you rent it, or your mortgage, you give back 2 back to the school. And at the end of the year, the $2 is given back. And that $2 at the end of the year, that's a trip for all the senior class. And you can have young ladies at hair salon in the school on Saturdays. These are the hours. Everything is organic product to the hair, but you also have an elder to assist them. Same way, hair salon probably costs a little more. We put X amount of dollars here at the end of the year, a trip for the senior class, but an educational trip, a very productive trip, because the goal is to get all of our students in college. That's the goal. Whatever college, whatever level. Now, college isn't for everybody. We want, whether it's a 2-year college, a trade school, we want every student to be productive. That old saying, when I was younger, no kid left behind. We don't want to leave any kids behind. They're going to be on somebody's campus. on somebody's workforce when they leave high school. We can't have anybody walk around the streets. We can't have this. So I think we have to create jobs and opportunities for our youth. And I think our superintendents, our principals, I think we have to rethink education because, again, and I'm not saying they're not doing a great job of teaching. What I'm saying is you go to class from 7:30 to 3 p.m. That's a lot of class, and our attention spans have gone way down over the years. So now I got to sit in the class for an hour. I'm exhausted. I don't feel like learning. Man, I'm ready to get out of here. So how do we structure that, whether it's 5 days a week of school? Are we teaching them how to be CEOs of the companies, or are we teaching them how to work for somebody? And I think that's very important. I think nowadays more than ever, we got to teach them how to seek success, seek wisdom, seek knowledge, seek understanding. I think that's very important as opposed to let me go into a classroom, sit down, listen to the teacher. Well, teacher, let me teach you and educate you on something. Throw something out there. We have to, when I go around, and I'll give you an experience, when I went to a prep school, so East St. Louis, which is a phenomenal experience for me growing up in East St. Louis, because the teachers were great teachers in my opinion, but they also were, most cases, from the city. So they not only poured the education, but they poured life in you. When I went off to a prep school, it was a different level of learning. And what that was is almost as how you become a CEO of a company. I think in public school system is like, how do we learn this information to work for somebody? When you go to prep school, I'm sitting there now, and you got the CEO of a company, son or daughter in the classroom, a professional athlete, son or daughter in the classroom. So now you're in the classroom with student athletes, students that are thinking higher learning and success levels. They're not thinking I'm going to work for somebody. They're thinking I'm going to own something. And it's a different mentality. So we have to teach that, and we have to heed that counsel as teachers, superintendents of schools, of how do we promote higher learning and pillars and become pillars in our communities. Because I think if we get better, and we set a number, okay, we have 300 seniors in our senior class. Okay, the goal is to get each one of these in somebody's school, trade school, university, tech school, 300. And we look at the numbers, we do the database. 20 years from now, we keep getting out 300, 200. You got a different community, a different city, different life. That's a successful city because we took the time to make sure every kid finds their way in life. And I think that's very important. I think one of the scariest places to be is a single parent and to feel hopeless, trying to find a way in life to put food on the table, working multiple jobs, providing for your children, trying to find time to read to them at night before they go to bed, trying to find the right resources for them after school, the programs. I think if you're a single parent mom, I think one of the best things you could do, and again, everything goes back to trust, but you never want anybody harming or mistreating your child. The best thing you can do is try to put your kid in some level of sport. Because as early as you can, if it's 4-year-old, 5-year-old, put them in sports. And what happens in sports, it teaches camaraderie, and that's togetherness. It teaches, in some cases, focus. It teaches commitment. It teaches accountability. Of course, you got to have effort, and if you continue to be great, it is maximum effort. It teaches family. It prepares you for life. And I think those are some great lessons. Put them in sports. As they continue to grow in sports, they become better physically. They're in shape, so now they're doing something. So they're not just at home playing video games. There's nothing wrong with video games. There's a time and place for that. But you have them involved. So now when you work and find quality programs, and I would reach out if I'm a single mother in any area or city, find the best coaches in that community. Not the ones with the big names, but the ones that takes time. Because the ones with big names can be good too, but the ones that will take time with your child and his growth and his development from a young man into a man, just teach those values and nurture him and not want something from him. If he has a chance to be successful, just genuinely want to see him be successful, and somebody he can study and learn from, and you look at him and study that person before you put your child in that person's life and say, okay, that's the kind of man I want my son to become. That man has love. He seems to have love. He seems to have respect for these kids. He seems to have respect for his wife as I see him coaching, and I see how he treats his kids. So I think that's very important. If you were a coach that has children of his own or has a wife of his own, see how he treats them. And that's a lesson. But I think oftentimes as mothers that's yearning for help and yearning for someone to teach and to mold their children, especially young men, is finding the right person. But I think it goes back to believing in God and trusting God. And if you don't believe in God, say, God, talk to me. I don't believe in you, but make me believe. Give me some direction, God. And then what happens, he will show you ways as a mother to make your life better, if you trust to make your child's life better. It doesn't mean everything's going to be easy in life, but I think it's very important as a mother that you put your son in position of successful men. And what I mean by success, not money, I'm not talking money, but somebody that's proven that they care for kids. And I think that is very important because, again, you got to go back to trust. And as a mother, you got to trust and let go. Let go, let him learn, let him grow. He's going to come home in tears. Man, coach worked me too hard. I don't want to go back. When he says he doesn't want to go back, don't neglect what he said. Understand why he said it. I think that's very important. Don't say, oh, you got to get tough. No. It's not about being tough. It's understanding why he said that. If he says, well, coach made us work hard, well, that's fine. And then what you do as a mother, don't sit there and say, well, I don't want to deal with coaching. Why you make him work hard? That's crazy. What's wrong with him? Say, son, working hard is a part of life. Look at me, I work 2 jobs. Working hard is a part of life. If you consistently do what you're supposed to do, you listen to coach, you go to college, have success, then your work hard will become easy and you'll have the ability to retire when you get my age. See, I have to keep working as your mother. You'll have the ability to retire because you'll become a successful man, leader, CEO of a company. And I think that's very important. It all counts, family. I think it's very important that we understand the value of family, the value of love. And it takes a village to raise our youth. And I think we all have to be in this fight together every day. Let's continue to get better. Let's continue to grow. Each one, teach one. I think we have to have that philosophy for all of our children. If you see a kid straying away, somebody grab him and say, no, hold on. Because we all need love. We all need counsel. We all need advice. We all need a hug. So let's continue to grow together and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue to grow together. Remember, it all counts. Take care.